What if I told you one of the most fun games I've played recently was about running a supermarket? Sounds boring, right? That's what I thought too. But while digging through piles of free games on Steam, I found one called Supermarket Together. I expected it to be terrible, but I was very wrong. So wrong that by the end of my review, I gave the developers my hard-earned money. Let's take a look. To play Supermarket Together, you start by opening your own store. Just pick a name and choose if you want the game to be private, friends only, or public. And pick your difficulty. Heads up though, the difficulties are no joke. You'll see why soon enough. Also, once you choose the difficulty, you can't change it unless you go back to the main menu and reload your game, so plan accordingly. If you already have a store, loading it is even easier. But remember, your store only saves after you close for the day. Joining friends in Supermarket Together is pretty simple, but the Steam interface doesn't seem to work. Instead, you'll need a join code. Just hit the escape key and click the button that says copy join code to clipboard. Paste that into Discord or Steam chat and your friends can jump right in. Worried about people messing up your store? There's a setting called remove all permissions when joining. Turn that on and nobody can do anything until you give them permission. You can choose who can chat, cashier, stock shelves, act as security, or even run the store as a manager. You can also give someone full control if you really trust them. Permissions are super helpful when playing with random people or friends who just like to cause chaos. And if someone really starts causing trouble, you can throw them in the jail cell in the staff room. Yeah, there's a jail cell in the staff room. Who thought that was a good idea? Otherwise, if things get worse, you can kick them out of the game entirely. When you start Supermarket Together, the game gives you a mini tutorial. It's quick, but it does the job. It shows you how to place shelves and to register, order stock and items, set prices, and open your store. After that, you're on your own. Oh, and it also teaches you how to beat up thieves. Yeah, that's a thing. Remember when I said the difficulty multiplier was no joke? I learned that the hard way. I set the difficulty to 5 thinking it would be medium. You know, right in the middle of 1 and 10. Nope. I had a huge line of angry customers and the ones who didn't want to wait just started stealing. I had to stop working the register to chase down thieves and they just kept coming. It was wild. Funny, sure, but I had to restart the game on difficulty 1 just to survive. The game has most of what you would expect in a supermarket sim. There's no real story, but you can do all the tasks that you would expect. Stocking shelves, setting prices, running the register, and managing the store. There's even a franchise tree, kind of like a skill tree in other games. You can unlock new types of food, hire workers, and get special bonuses. You can also buy more storage or space to grow your store. The cool part? You don't have to follow a set path. You get to choose how your store grows. Supermarket Together offers a bunch of replayability in that you can choose different paths to follow as you grow your franchise. Plus, you can start more than one store if you want to. Choose from different difficulties and play with up to 16 people. So maybe one day you and a friend want to take on a store together, but then on the weekend maybe 5 or 6 of you are together. Any combination of these things can significantly affect your gameplay. It's really up to you how easy or hard you want the experience to be. On top of that, you can build different layouts to see which supermarket is most efficient, or you can just keep grinding to build the ultimate supermarket. When I checked how many people were playing, I was shocked, in a good way. Supermarket Together had more players than the last 2 games I reviewed combined. Over 4,000 people were playing at once, and the 24-hour peak was over 7,000. Even better, the numbers have stayed pretty steady. Back in November of 2024, just 3 months after the launch, the player count was still strong and it hasn't dropped much since. One of the coolest things about Supermarket Together is how the game keeps you on your toes. Even though it gives you tips early on, there can be some little and sudden surprises that make things exciting and fun. The ability to play this game with friends is something cool that not all sim games allow for. Maybe you've played games like Car Mechanic Simulator or Gas Station Simulator and thought, this would be a lot more fun with friends. Well, Supermarket Together offers that, which can make it way more fun. Something that really shocked me, there are no microtransactions. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find a single way to spend money in-game. For a free-to-play game, that's super rare, especially one this good. I don't know much about the developer since this is their only game on Steam, but wow, they nailed it. Lastly, this game has a lot of charm. It doesn't seem to take itself too seriously in some respects, and then in others you're trying to manage and run a successful grocery store. Hitting thieves with brooms and stocking shelves doesn't sound like it should be fun on paper, but in practice, something about it just works. And honestly, there's not much to complain about. The two things I noticed might even be part of the game on purpose, or maybe they get better as you get further along. First, I kind of wish there was more variety in what you can do. Not like when I played on difficulty 5 and had to chase down shoplifters nonstop, but smaller things like cleaning up trash, mopping floors, or fixing stuff around the store. It might make the game feel more real, but I get that too much might also make it less fun. Second, I wish I could use the number pad on my keyboard to type in credit card payments. You can use it when setting prices with the pricing gun, so it feels a little weird that it doesn't work at the register. Maybe it's meant to make the cashier job feel more realistic and slow-paced, or maybe it's that way just because. These might actually be addressed later in the skill tree or as the game progresses, but I'm just not sure. So if you played Supermarket Together and you know the answer, let me know down in the comments. Remember at the beginning when I said I thought this game was going to be terrible? Well, it wasn't. When my review time was up, I didn't want to stop playing. I actually had to force myself to step away and go to bed, but even then I couldn't stop thinking about the game. I turned on the TV to relax, but all I wanted to do was go back and keep playing. And the next morning, same thing. I had stuff to do, but my brain was still stuck in supermarket mode. Even now as I'm writing the script, I want to go play it. So yeah, the game was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Earlier I said that I looked all over and I couldn't find a way to spend money. That was mostly true. While the game itself doesn't have any microtransactions, the developers did release a DLC that, in their own words, features mostly cosmetics and costs about $5 US. In the past, there have been small studios who release games that I really enjoyed. Unfortunately, those studios didn't survive, and that means the games that they created didn't either. After that happened a couple of times, I made the choice to start supporting smaller developers in hopes that they will continue to make cool things. With Supermarket Together, I can't get over how cool this free game is, and the fact that it doesn't have microtransactions being pushed on players is amazing. So for that, they get my $5. And needless to say, I will definitely be returning to Supermarket Together. This game checks all the boxes in terms of having a good time and providing an overall great experience. And that's why Supermarket Together scores a 10 out of 10, putting it in S tier. If you're thinking about trying Supermarket Together, I've added links to the store page in the description. If you like this video or agree with the S tier rating, hit that like button. If you have a free-to-play game that you'd like me to review, or if you plan to play Supermarket Together, let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to click the video link on your screen, because the next game might be your new favorite.